Okay, started. Right, I shall have to start from Aldo. I'm sorry, where he entered the line.
This one, start from this, yeah. Meditate on cons.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Meditate on cones. Although I didn't take up meditation, I did find certain aspects of Buddhism fascinating. I was struck by the symbolism of Buddhism, the way the Buddha was sometimes portrayed by an empty seat, a pair of footprints, a tree, or a pillar of fire to signify that he would pass beyond form. I love the numbered list that pop up throughout Buddhism: the triple refuge, the noble eightfold path, the four noble truths, the eight auspicious symbols: parasol, golden fish, treasure vase, lotus, conch shell, endless knot, victory banner, and dharma wheel. The aspect that intrigued me most, however, was the study of Zen koans, rhymes with Ben Cohen's. A code is a question or a statement that can't be understood logically. Zen Buddhist Zen Buddhist monks meditate on koans as a way to abandon dependence on reason in their pursuit of enlightenment. The most famous koan is two hands clap and there is a sound. What is the sound of one hand? Another is, if you meet the Buddha, kill him. Or, what was your face before your parents were born? A cone can't be grasped by reason or explained in words. Meditating on cones promotes mindful thinking because it's not possible to comprehend their meaning with familiar, conventional logic. After I learned about cones, I realized that I already had my own list of personal cones. I just hadn't thought of them that way. For years, in another example of seemingly pointless note taking, I had been keeping a list of enigmatic lines, and in odd moments, I would think about them. I was surprised to see how many I had collected. My favorites: Robert Frost, the best way out is always through. This is J.W. Mary, we set out to be right. Saint Teresa of Lisieux, I choose all. Francis Bacon, Heraclitus, dry light is ever the best. Mark 4:25, for he that hath, to him shall be given, and be that hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he hath. Gertrude Stein, I like a room with a view, but I like to sit with a turned to it. Elias Canetti, can catches fire. T.S. Eliot, oh, do not ask, what's it? Let us go and make our visit. Virginia Woolf, she always had the feeling that it was very, very dangerous to live in one day. These fragments haunted me. They floated through my mind at odd times when I was waiting on a subway platform or staring at my computer screen, and they seemed strangely relevant in many circumstances. The personal cone I reflected on most often was a Spanish proverb quoted by Samuel Johnson in Boswell's Life on Johnson. He who would bring home the wealth of the Indies must carry the wealth of the Indies with him. I would read the line years ago and often found myself turning it over in my mind. Much later, I had discovered a reference in Henry David Thoreau's journal in which he echoed Johnson. It is in vain to dream of a wildness distant from ourselves. I shall never find in the wilds of Labrador any greater wildness than in some leases of Concord than I import into it. With time, I think I began to grasp the meaning of these two cones, which had profound implications for a happiness project. I was trudging up the stairs of the library when I thought, she who would find the happiness of the Indies must carry the happiness of the Indies with her. I couldn't look outside myself for happiness. The secret was not in the Indies or in the Labrador, but under my own roof. If I wanted to find happiness, I had to carry happiness with me. Ruminating on my cones didn't bring me any closer to Satori, the lasting enlightenment promised by Zen, at least not as far as I could tell, but it did ignite my imagination. Because cones forced me to challenge the usual straightforward boxes of meaning. They pushed me to think about thinking. That in turn brought me the delicious intellectual happiness that comes from grappling with an expansive, difficult question. Examine clue rules. Anyone would like to continue reading, or shall I continue? Okay, I'll continue. Please, you put your name on the chat sections, those who are interested to read. Next. Part of the challenge of mindfulness was to keep myself from falling into mechanical thoughts and actions. Instead of walking through life on autopilot, I wanted to question the assumptions I made without noticing. My research into cognitive science led me to the concept of heuristics. Heuristics are mental rules of thumb, the quick, common sense principles you apply to solve a problem or make a decision. For example, the recognition heuristic holds that if you are faced with two objects and you recognize one and don't recognize the other, you assume that the recognized one is higher value. So, if you have heard of Munich but you haven't heard of Minden, you assume that Munich is the larger German city. If you have heard of Rice Krispies cereal, but you haven't heard of Wild Oats cereal, you assume that Rice Krispies is the most popular brand. Usually, heuristics are helpful, but in some situations, our cognitive instincts mislead us. Take the availability heuristic. People predict the likelihood of an event based on how easily they can come up with an example. This is often useful. Is a tornado likely to hit Manhattan? But sometimes a person's judgment is skewed because the vividness of examples makes an event seem more likely than it actually is. A friend of mine, for example, is hyper vigilant about not eating anything that might contain raw eggs. She practically went into hysterics when she found out that her mother in law had allowed her kids to eat raw cookie batter. Why? Because her aunt got salmonella 25 years ago. The same friend, by the way, never wears a seatbelt. Although they might not fit precisely into the definition of heuristics, I had my own idiosyncratic collection of principles, which I called true rules for making decisions and setting priorities. My father often talks about true rules. For example, When I started working after college, he said, remember, it's one of the true rules. If you are willing to take the blame, people will give you responsibility. I'm reading again. It's one of the true rules. If you are willing to take the blame, people will give you responsibility. I have applied my own true rules to help me make decisions, mostly without quite realizing that I was using them. They flicker through my brain so quickly that I have to make a real effort to detect them. But I identified a handful of rules that I frequently use. My children are my most important priority. Get some exercise every day. Jammy is my top priority in matters big or small. Yes, comes right away. No, never comes. Get some work done every day. Whenever possible, choose vegetables. I know as much as most people. I am in a hurry. Try to attend any party or event to which I am visited. My parents are almost always right. Ubiquity is the new exclusivity. If I am not sure whether to include some text, cut it out. Never eat horse, jewels, and never eat anything at a children's party. When making a choice about what to do, choose work. Looking at my two rules showed me something. Several of them were difficult to balance. How could my kids, Jamie, and work all be top of priorities? Also, I was pretty sure that Jamie operated under the rule of try to skip as many social events as possible and explained certain ongoing marital debates. Some of my true rules were very helpful, such as one I learned from my mother. The things that go wrong often make the best memories. The things that go wrong often make the best memories. This is very comforting and very true. For example, my mother put a tremendous amount of work into planning Jimmy's and my wedding, right down to the wedding weekend informational letter decorated with cows and ruby slippers to symbolize Kansas City. And the wedding was gorgeous and perfect in every way, except for one single tiny detail. The misspelling of the composer Haydn's name as Hayden, Hayden in the order of service. And sure enough, now I love remembering that super flaws. Somehow it reminds me all the time my mother and I spent together planning the wedding. She did most of the work. The one flaw throws the loveliness of the whole wedding into focus. I remember reading that the Shakers deliberately introduced a mistake into the things they made to show that man shouldn't aspire to the perfection of God. Flaw can be more perfect than perfection. On the other hand, some of my true rules were unhelpful. I am in a hurry, ran through my head dozens of times each day. Not always a constructive thought. I work to change that rule too. I have plenty of time for the things that are important to me by questioning my true rules instead of applying them unthinkingly. I could make sure I apply them only when they would guide me to decisions that reflected my true priorities. Was I the only one who thought this way? When I asked my friends if they had true rules, they understood exactly what I was talking about and they had their own examples. Always say, hello, what would my mother do? Don't get up in the fives or go sleep in the eights. Don't get up in the 5 a.m. or go to sleep in the 8 p.m. Don't down with boredom. Change is good. First things first. Example, eat before a job interview. Choose the bigger life. Buy anything you want at the grocery store. Cooking is always cheaper than eating out. Things have a way of turning out for the best. Use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. I picked up a very helpful clue rule from my sister. Elizabeth told me people succeed in groups. As a TV writer in Los Angeles, she worked in a notoriously competitive, jealous industry. Jamie and I had coined a phrase, the funny feelings, to describe the uncomfortable mixture of competitiveness and self doubt that we feel when a peer scores a major success. When a friend of Elizabeth's co-wrote the screenplay of a movie that was box office hit, I asked her, does it give you the funny feeling that your pal had such a huge success? She answered, well, maybe a bit, but I remind myself that people succeed in groups. It's a great for him to have a big success, and his success is also likely to help me to be successful. By contrast, I have a friend who described her brother as having a zero sum attitude toward good fortune. If something good happens to someone else, he feels as if something good is less likely to happen to him. As a result, he is never happy for anyone else. Now it's debatable whether it's true that people succeed in groups. I happen to think it is true, but whether or not it's objectively true, it's a true rule that makes a person much happier. Of course, pure magnanimity would be more admirable, but telling yourself that people succeed in groups help when you are feeling small minded. Jamie has a very helpful clue rule. He says, the first thing is not the right thing. So, when a friend doesn't get the job he wanted or wasn't able to buy the apartment she bid on, Jamie says, the first thing is not the right thing. Wait and see. You will be glad in the end that this didn't work out. Again, the point is not whether this clue rule is factually true. I recognize that is perfect as the why do you always find a lost object in the very last place you look kind of logical flaw. But that is a way of thinking that boosts happiness. Gathering clue rules was a fun exercise and it was useful because as I questioned my clue rules, I became far more aware when I applied them by mindfully deciding how to act in line with my values instead of mindlessly applying my rules. I was better able to make the decisions that supported my happiness. I think we will come to can we end for today's session?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we can.
yeah.
Thank you, Rajesh and Pinaki, everyone, for stepping in. Uh,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you. So, I haven't read this part yet. So, yeah, we can continue the remaining tomorrow. If anyone would like to share uh, insights, reflections on what we have read so far. Or maybe with AI, we can capture the essence of today's reading.
Yeah, I will have to leave a little early. Will you do that, Deepa?
You have to leave now. Since no one is speaking and I'm not in the right frame to conclude, I'll read it today and tomorrow I'll give my reflections. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Since I joined very late, I won't be able to capture the reading summary today.
yeah, yeah. So
Um, uh,
like,
yeah.
someone people can share their insights on what they've read. and someone can just capture it. So if you want, like, I don't know.
You can just capture the insights of today's reading from AI and
Are
then
you
post
doing
it
that?
in the group. Mansi, I joined late, no? So maybe I will not be able to capture the entire essence.
Okay. I can capture the reading part. Discussion. Are we not having any discussion today on the reading part?
Okay, I'm not seeing anyone forthcoming. We have Simi, storyteller, Manish ji, and Rajesh, and you and me. So, Simi, would you like to have your insights? Manish ji, would you like to say something?
Actually, I'm actually leaving right away. So maybe I'll do it tomorrow definitely. Okay, because I was also busy with something. So I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, Mansi, let's capture the AI and wind up the session. I'm sorry about today's all confusion and delay.
no worries,
The
no worries.
internet
Come.
aren't
I
someone.
understand. We completely
Uh,
understand the situation. I understand your thing.
yeah.
Okay, I think when we have some problem with the internet, we'll be
Uh,
completely perplexed. I
I don't know.
completely
Now
understand.
also,
No
my
worries, no worries.
mobile.
What we have read today, I think today we have started reading about that Buddhism. The author spoke about Buddhism and the mindful the meditations. And I think I felt like we have touched upon many things. They brought up some of the different rules and different things. Uh, I also felt like that it's not continuity or something, and a lot of the deep level insights were discussed. If I want to discuss, if I want to talk about something, whatever we have read, I think I have to reread whatever we have read so far. Even I have to check what is how many pages we have read, how many pages we have completed so far. We have to check again. I think we will be able to continue reading tomorrow. Then we will have a proper discussion about it. I have
Hmm.
captured few things, the AI notes for today's session that I will share it with you. You can
Wow.
you can post it in the group after cross checking and verifying. Is it okay, ma'am, or do you want me to post it?
No, please go ahead. There's no cross verification required. I
Okay,
totally trust your way of doing things and
I'm posting
interpretation.
already. Rajesh, you can add to
okay,
that.
okay,
Like you
okay.
can
You
Yeah,
posted
yeah,
also
means
please.
post it simultaneously.
okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
everyone, thank you a lot
Yeah,
for
no,
helping
no
today.
problem. Yeah, there is some situation happened, some network issues, continue missing out. No problem. We will continue reading tomorrow as well the same book, and we'll take essence of this chapter into the tomorrow's reading, and also we can combine whatever we have read today and tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, Deepam. No worries.
Thank you. Thank you.